Today I'm going to shoot out an advanced ToneX capture of the Revv Generator Mark III Purple channel against a capture of the same amplifier in the Quad Cortex. Let's get started. Thanks for joining me for today's episode, guys. This is going to be a quick one. A lot of people have been asking me and discussing in the forums and in my comments section here on the channel, like which one's actually better, the ToneX or the Quad Cortex when it comes to capturing amplifiers. Well, today we're going to find out. And what I did is I captured the purple channel of the Revv Mark III with the ToneX, and I did the advanced capture, which is the best capture that the ToneX actually does. And I captured the same amplifier with the same settings, same mics, everything else with the Quad Cortex. And we're going to see which one sounds better. Now I'm going to do something a little different in this episode. I'm going to compare the raw amp tones that I captured in the units against each other and against the amp itself in its raw state. And I'm also going to compare them against each other with the Horizon Devices Precision Drive that I captured in the Quad Cortex and that I'm using when I run the ToneX through the HX Stomp. They have the Horizon Devices Precision Drive pedal in it as well. And they did a great job on that pedal. You can't tell the difference. And the real pedal and the real amp. I'm going to compare all those against each other in isolated riffs and in a full mix as well. I just thought it would be fun to expand the comparisons a little bit in this video. Now make sure you pay attention to the screen because all of the information that you need while you're watching this video will be on the screen. So I don't have to explain everything. So let's get on with the comparisons now. All right, so before I give you my final thoughts, let's see how these compare in a full mix. And just so you know, regarding the full mix, it's not double tracked or anything like that. All I'm doing is just pushing play on my iPad and just playing to the backing track, and it all sums to one track. So I think I matched the volumes really good between all three units. So if there's slight variations in the volume, you know, don't shoot me. It's just the way it is. You know, I do the best I can. So let's go ahead and hear how they compare in a full mix, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so regarding my final thoughts, let's talk about feel first. As far as which one felt better, the amplifier definitely felt better. It's not night and day, but it is noticeable. I just like how amplifiers react when you play through them. There's that bouncy chewiness. You can feel the pick really digging into the strings, and I don't know, it's just a great feel and response when you're playing an amplifier, especially the Revv. It's got such a great feel to it. It's just the right amount of sag and percussive feel that's blended really well in that amplifier, and I just love how that amp feels every time I play it. It makes me feel invincible as a guitar player. I feel like I could do no wrong with that amplifier, even though I do make mistakes, obviously, but it's just a great feel and response with that amp. Now, how far away were these units from the amp regarding feel? Not far. You know, let's say the amp was obviously 100% real feeling, because it is. It's a real amp. So I would say they'd be in the 90s, you know, somewhere in the 90s as far as the difference goes. So it's almost negligible, but again, noticeable at the same time. Now, how far were they from each other regarding feel? I'd say that the Quad Cortex is a little bit stiffer than the ToneX. Just a hair stiffer. It is something that I notice, but it's subtle. Now, when I play either one before or after each other, I don't feel like, oh, I got to acclimate to this, and oh, I can really notice this huge difference. All I can tell you is it takes me a couple seconds to acclimate to either unit, and I'm fine. So is the difference negligible? Kinda, because again, they both felt really good to play, but there is a difference, but it's nothing that would be a deal breaker, if that makes sense. I really think that both of them captured the feel of the amplifier very, very good. And I would play live with either one of them with no problem. And I would have a hard time picking one over the other regarding feel. I really would. It's pretty much a coin toss between them. And besides all that, some people want a little bit of a stiffer feel. Some people want a little more of a chewy, bouncy feel. And again, it's very slight, but because a lot of people are watching this video that want the nitpicky details, I'm going to give you the nitpicky details. There is, again, a slight difference between them, but it's very subtle. So depending on what you like, you'll pick one over the other. Now regarding tone, I mean, to be honest with you guys, I'm hooking these up separately and then playing my tracks and doing my thing with them, and I have to listen to it as I'm editing, you know, to give you a real good idea what I'm experiencing here. Because you know it is, you unplug something, you plug back into something else, your ears are going to forget everything that you just heard. And it's hard to really compare them when you have a couple minutes in between listening to each unit. So while I was editing, I basically just noticed a hair more top end in the Quad Cortex, and it's kind of known for that. It's kind of known for giving you that really nice hi-fi top end, and I like it. It doesn't bother me. It's very subtle, but it is noticeable. And with the ToneX, I feel like it did a great job as well. Not as much top end, but I think it had a good amount of top end in it, and it's a photo finish between the two regarding the type of top end that you have. I mean, it's really, really close. Now, as far as the sound goes, again, I think that both of them did a great job. So if I'm rating them 1 out of 10, man, it would be really hard to score either one of these guys higher than the other. It really would. I think both of them did an excellent, excellent job when it came to profiling the amplifier. I mean, the Quad Cortex was definitely easier to use because I just set it on the table, plugged in all the stuff, and let it run its thing, and it took like 4 minutes and it was done. It was super easy. And with the ToneX, I had to use extra gear. I have to use my computer, I have to use a reamp box, I have to hook everything up, and you know, it takes longer. Now with my new computer, the advanced capture, the ToneX probably took about 1.5 to 2 hours for it to finalize the capture, but that's a lot, you know, quicker than it was on my old computer. My old computer was like 6 hours, so I'm glad I got the new computer. But that being said, the Quad Cortex is definitely faster and a little bit easier to work with because you don't need any additional gear to do captures with. You know, I mean, with the ToneX, it's kind of what I call a parasitic product. It needs a computer and a reamp box to do what it does. Now, as far as the full mix is concerned, I didn't notice a huge difference, at least sitting at my desk listening to my studio monitors. I didn't notice a huge difference between them. Maybe there's some slight subtle differences between them, but nothing that would make me pick one over the other. I think the amplifier the ToneX and the Quad Cortex all sounded amazing in the mix and on isolated tracks as well. So I'd go either way with any one of these products. I really would. I think it's pretty much a coin toss when it comes to the ToneX and the Quad Cortex regarding how good they sound and how good they feel. Now, obviously the ToneX is cheaper, you know, so a lot of people would probably want to get that if they're on a budget, but with the Quad Cortex, you get all of the effects and everything all in one box, and you just plop it on the floor and go. And with the ToneX, you're going to need a digital platform or some extra pedals to make it work, which a lot of people already have. When they buy it and they add it to their existing gear, they're okay with that. It integrates with all of it just fine. Now, a lot of people talk about this null test that's out there, you know, like, oh, in a null test, the ToneX is more accurate and all that kind of stuff. Well, you know, it's good to have those scientific tests because it gives us an idea when we put things under a microscope, like what's really going on there. And I do appreciate that, and I respect those tests. But that said, at the end of the day, if your ears and hands can't really tell the difference between the two units, then who cares what the null test says? Because a lot of stuff is just inaudible. You know, I mean, if you need a computer to tell you something's better, but you can't tell without that, then I guess those differences are kind of negligible. Now, you guys can throw rocks at me all you want for saying that, but that's just the way I feel about it. It really is. I mean, if I can't tell with my ears or my hands, I don't really give a shit what the null test says. Again, I respect the test, and I think it's cool that people are doing that, but I'm not going to make a decision based on that. I'm just not. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode and got something out of it. I mean, I learned a couple things myself. I thought there'd be a bigger difference between these two because of all the talk with the null tests and, you know, and how long the ToneX takes to do captures and all this kind of stuff. Personally, I kind of like the Quad Cortex as a form factor over the ToneX pedal because I can bring it all by itself to a gig and not have to have any additional gear. I just run straight into the front of the house, plug my guitar in, and I'm done. But that's just me. Everybody likes different things, so I totally understand that. Again, people probably make financial decisions and get other products for the same reason. You know, I mean, there's people out there probably watching right now, they're like, well, I prefer the ToneX because I already have these pedals, or I have an HX Stomp by Line 6 or something like that. I can integrate it with that product and get all the effects that I need and save money. So I totally respect that as well. But thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you want to support my channel, I would really appreciate that. You can support it several different ways. You can use Patreon, which there's a link below, but there's a more fun way of doing that, and that is going to my website, which is also posted in the description of this video, tonewars.com. You can get some awesome guitar sounds for yourself. If you play Kemper, you can get some Kemper profiles for yourself. If you use the Quad Cortex, I have a lot of great capture packs, presets, and all kinds of captures on my website for that unit. And soon, coming very soon, I will have a lot of ToneX captures for you guys as well. So go to my website and get something awesome for yourself. Support my channel at the same time of getting some great guitar tones for yourself. And I really think that you guys would enjoy the capture packs that I have up there for both the Quad Cortex and the Kemper. I've got a lot of great reviews from them, a lot of happy customers, and I really appreciate you guys very much for buying those from me. It really does go a long way and help the channel out. Well, to all my subscribers and Patreon supporters, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I either go live or come out with a new episode. Well, I got a lot more stuff coming up for you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.